next witness, counsel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, the interpreters, the witness would speak in Mandinka, so I hope we are already set up to receive the testimony in Mandinka.
Yeah, we are set.
Thank you very much.
We had seen his testimony because he touched on the road accident.
Yes,
So
yes.
getting more details from him now.
No, I just want to deal with this.
I, EBOU JARJU.
Nte EBOU JARJU.
Nte EBOU JARJU. Do
kalilako.
Ben kalilako. I'll speak the truth.
Mbetonyale fola.
Mbetonyale fola. The whole truth.
Tonya be.
Tonya be. And nothing but the truth.
Adunte fem fola me manke tonyati.
Adunte fem fola me manke tonyati. So help me God.
Muto alama aleyendema.
Alama aleyendema.
Mr. Witness, welcome back to the TRRC. Could you kindly tell us your full names, please?
EBOU JARJU. My name is EBOU JARJU.
And where do you live, Mr. Jarju?
Mr. Jarju,
Kombo Daselami. I'm living in Kombo Daselami.
What is your date of birth?
December Karo Tiltani Lulu 1966.
15th of December 1956.
66.
Mr. Jarju, testified before the commission before, correct?
Mr. Jarju, you said the arrow kill a commission when you are telling a follow.
Hakai, yes.
And you testified about your experiences working at State House as a steward to the president.
And utumu we said the arrow men canoe. Wale tilinta iladu kola ebe State House wato men steward yalaje. Wale mentarta balu kolu kunaje.
Hakai, yes indeed.
And when you testified, you also talked about some of the accidents in the convoys.
Hakai, yes.
Yes, and as a steward at State House, would you travel with the president to and from Kanilai?
Ila steward at State House. Fodum watini president katani nale kabo katakani lai kana.
Jama. On many occasions.
Do you recall traveling with the president when an accident occurred around the current location of the Atlas petrol station around Bijilo?
Foy hakilo sibula nyinna silo men inim president be silo kang hanufo accident onata ke dinkirato Atlas petrol station walam Atlas essentiel be damen Bijilo sate auto foy hakilo sibula wala ba.
Okay. Yes. I recall.
You are called specifically to provide evidence or information that you know about that particular incident.
Ne kumandi yinala purka kibaro di wala ka CDA roke ite kumel long yemen je yemen CDA o accident wala karola police of commission.
Can you kindly tell this commission what you remember?
Butu mbe danila ya funyi commission ite hakilo sibula kolu menula wa accident la karola.
Okay, bismillah.
Okay.
Wolungo abenta sibito lefe.
That day was on a Saturday.
Kabonang kanila samanda juno.
We came from Kanilai early morning.
Bimfra nang sa ikafada traffic light.
When we got to the place they now call traffic light,
Mbo nat nang fo asmanta ITC tebefe.
we came until we were approaching the ITC.
Mr. Jarju,
Mr. Jaju,
traffic light is way ahead of ITC.
traffic lights abe ITC nyatole.
And you were coming from Kanilai.
Adu albebo kanang kanilai.
So could you clarify what you were going to say?
Woto sain laftayo dinkrale seneyandi nyi be memfola.
Burfur Johnson.
The Bruford Johnson.
That's the roundabout.
Ha.
Welem turntable oti.
Turntable, thank you.
Turntable, thank you.
Sorry. Turntable lem.
It's a turntable.
Ntamita turntable menakan kana towards Senegambia.
We passed the turntable and we were heading towards Senegambia.
Itamita turntable in that there's sort of a bend.
If you pass the turntable, after some distance, there is a bend.
Obeno inkandek narangam astam taraji.
On that bend was where we found the accident.
Wala nangin Ford motorbati.
That was the big Ford vehicle.
And what type of Ford vehicle was it?
Mum Ford moto fason na moti.
It was a 350.
I think it was a 350.
And would they
White
call it
one.
F350?
Welem
Exactly, welem.
F350.
And do you recall who was driving the vehicle, the Ford vehicle?
Fo hakilo samuto jumala be Ford moto borinde kannu.
Womoto Lamin Silla Nunye.
Lamin Sierra was in that vehicle.
Do you know this person called Lamin Silla?
Yim Mario Lamin Silla ya fangolon ne bang.
Kendeke.
Very well.
Where did you know him?
Ya lo min tole.
Natara State House le.
I found him at the State House.
And what was he at State House?
Muneti nu State House wotumo.
Abe convoy driving nakono.
He was a convoy driver.
So on this day, tell us what you saw when you arrived at that scene. You told us you found this Ford 350, F350.
Afanye woto silang yemenje wolula eko yin Ford 350 taraji.
Kabim fra sport nindo.
When we got to the spot,
Ngan sengutara.
we slowed down.
Ngaye Ford in I slow bula.
I saw that the Ford was off the road
On the right hand side.
on the right-hand side.
Benso fanang.
The Benz too,
Akungo dintenan slow kana bay alipe aming ata lo akungo tiling ko momin kata Burford Johnson.
it was headed towards our end, but the way it was hit, it turned around and it was facing the Bruford end.
Do you know, from what you saw, were you able to assess where the driver of the Mercedes-Benz was hit from? Was it on the road, on the side of the road, or off the road?
Itela cross road wolu. Membe Mercedes Benz o burindi kang. Ila cross road isa fono ya ataki daming aya ataki silo le kambang wala sila jenje ko kannumbang wala amanta silo fonkai ba ataki la tumomen.
Na course kono anna driving experience fanan because ata 2004 ata almost tagi tanning flabe ke driving na ngam rono.
By my experience and my observation, because 2014 found me, 2004, I was almost 12 years as a driver.
So indra course ho ngango motoing funtikan nanni because slow handek take ajindi.
In my observation, I assumed that the vehicle was probably attempting to get onto the road and then it was hit back.
Because near you are on temo and sweeper.
If you looked at the distance between us and the sweeper, it was far away.
From what you saw, did it appear to you that this was a head-on collision by a vehicle that was traveling on the middle of the road and got hit or had a collision with the F-350?
Itela cross road. Ni accident kata nyame amunta moto nyimbe tabori kan silo tema le bang utumo le nyota ko keta fodun itela cross road nyota ko nyin asababuta nyadile
na moto borindo experience kono
My driving experience,
nga ko si moto flow
I observed that these two vehicles,
indo mu Mercedes Benz soldi
this other one was a Mercedes-Benz,
indo mu F-350
the other one was an F-350,
so
a huge
obviously
vehicle.
near hit silo tema
And obviously, if they had a head-on collision at the middle of the road,
odo ngi atano on the right hand side Benz of on the right hand side what possible no
it was not going to be possible that both of them would be on the right-hand side.
EBOU JARJU
silo tema le
All of them would have been in the middle of the road.
And when you arrived, neither of those vehicles was on the middle.
brief la je ni moto flow han client je membe silo tema
ani hani moto klimantar silo tema
None was at the middle of the road.
Let me read this out for you and you give us your opinion.
but when kara ye yala moy bitun ite ham ite la jero moment je yow fonye
I was in the lead vehicle followed by two other vehicles
ndebe moto nyaton ko le kono moto fula ben noma
before you get to the president's vehicle.
yani be futa la president la motoma
I was trying to avoid the driver, referring to the driver of the Mercedes,
mba kata kanne puru nsi jenke no drive for nyame wolem akabe jenke kam Mercedes Benz drive for nyina motole.
However, he kept on swinging on the road.
Baro nyawnyanding a continuator ka abulo finance silo kan wati nu wati.
And eventually, as I tried to run on the sideways,
Ko bitunga na atake ko ndeba kata kanne puru ka bori karatantangola
he ran onto my vehicle, causing the accident.
atelenata mna kananna moto taki wole accident nyin sabu.
But perhaps I should also read the paragraph before so that you would have a better idea.
Bari asekeno sapa folo membe safari janninga nyim men karanteng nsio fanan karang puru ya mume be faham.
At paragraph 12, it reads as follows.
Sapa tanning fulanja membe je wole nyimfo.
At around the Bruceby Elton petrol station,
Ako Bruceby Elton esansero ma fangola.
a man believed to be an Arab or white national
Mosoton dame ya lonka sike ko arabo le wala fat mo koyolem
was driving a Mercedes
Benz borindi kan.
and was swept by the mobile police.
Adu mobile police lu ya itandi ala price silo bula.
However, the driver refused to leave the road for the convoy.
Baro nyonyandi wo drive fo ye bang pour ka silo bula ka jenke convoy yoye.
I was the lead vehicle, followed by two other vehicles before you get to the president.
Ntelebe moto nyaton ko kono moto fula fanam bente no majanni.
I was trying to avoid the driver.
Mba kata kan purunga kananyin purunga tankanyin drive ma.
However, he kept on swinging on the road.
Baro nyonyandi a continuator ka bulo fine nan silo kan.
And eventually,
Hani fo anatake
as I tried to run on the sideways,
ndenga kata pour ka bori silo jenjengola.
he ran onto my vehicle, causing the accident.
Anata ay namoto taki wole accident sabu.
As a person who was on that convoy during that time,
Mome ya lonka abo convoy kono watola.
is this story true?
Ni muto nyale tibang.
inte kenno to yati
This cannot be true
because hakilo ko kono korsirolla
because the mind is there for observation.
one nga moto minga sweeping ka hamiyem falli jaaju.
There was a sweeper called Mfalo Jaju,
Na momo sweep force be jilal.
and whosoever he sweeps, that person has to forcefully leave the road.
Na kan akayati likan pureji and force be jilal.
Because when he's coming at you, he comes straight at you, and his eyes are on you. You must leave the road.
Ndanga min korsije.
What I observed there,
Maybe this Swedish guy.
maybe this Swedish guy,
Oh, the Samsung warabi aka jamfale.
sometimes there is a long distance
Between the sweeper and the main convoy.
between the sweeper and the main convoy.
Maybe amaka am defan ko sweeper tambita defan.
Maybe he wasn't even aware that in fact the sweeper had already passed.
Fundina on the right hand side because silo kan because
So he got out of the right-hand side, trying to get onto the road, and it almost coincided with their arrival, and they pressed him back. Or they will meet suddenly. These two scenarios might have happened.
But on the road.
But on the road. No, each time Yajame's convoy is coming, whosoever they sweep up the road, you have to get down.
You saw the vehicles, you said, off the road. How many minutes do you think passed before you arrive at the point of the accident?
Minute jelle sitambi accident la keo anin atella futo je tema.
At 5 minutes la.
It will not be even up to 5 minutes.
One of the victims, the
in fact, when we arrived, one of the victims, who was Sonko, injured in the Ford, was just being brought out.
One of the NIA
officers.
That's right.
In fact, he brought himself outside of the vehicle.
That means I'm 5 minutes.
So it means you were in fact present when some of the victims were coming.
Exactly.
And did you see the vehicle? In fact, you told us that the Mercedes was being driven by a Swedish guy. How do you know that?
Luckily enough, I was BB Hotel.
Luckily, the Mercedes driver, because I was once working at BB, he used to run the Bako 2
hotel on the right hand side of BB.
At the right hand side of BB called Bako 2.
What is the person's name?
He is Willie Bakotulla.
We used to call him Willie Bakutu.
Did he have anything to do with Sir Williams as well?
Sir Williams.
Sir Williams, I will name as Sir Williams.
The restaurant that he ran is the one he named Sir Williams.
And the rooms were at the same hotel, but the rooms were run by Lala.
It's the same hotel, but the rooms were run by Lalas.
So you knew the person before because you worked together with him?
Exactly, because at Willie Bakotu,
yes, exactly. Because their head was the one who was...
Their head was somebody called Carl Bangre, who was one time owner of BB Hotel.
When you arrived at the scene of the accident, how were you able to tell that it was involved in this accident?
Ya je ya lo nyadi le ko nyimari no bi accident ko no mo le ngolem nyinti ikafame Willie.
Actually, instantly, I came to that base.
I didn't know it immediately there, but when I got to the base, I had some colleagues that we worked with at the hotel. One of them called me and said to me, I have heard that he has killed our boss. I asked, which of your boss? And he said to me, Willie. I said to him, yes, I am aware of the accident, but I did not realize that it was him. I asked him, where was he coming from? He said to me, he was going to Tendaba.
But you saw the vehicle he was driving in?
Yes, I saw it.
I will show you a photograph. And tell me whether you recognize anything in the photograph.
Exactly.
Exactly. This is the very Benz. And while we were passing, it was also standing on this spot.
May I pass it on to the chairman and members of the commission for their viewing?
Natalo nyindi la commission chairman la nin commissioner dolu pour finaliser jibe.
Mr. Chair, with your permission, I would want to mark it for identification. He did not take the photograph. He's not the picture. So I'd have to bring a formal witness to just put in the photograph as the person who took the photograph.
Nying natalo atemari famata de bitun na mole nying me ya lonko wala natalo nyindi pour que natalo nyinati kabula sede kulu kono.
Clearly, from this photo, yes, Mr. Chair, you wanted. Thank you very much. Okay, clearly from this photograph, you could see that the vehicle off the road.
Nying natalo ya itandiko moto nying amantara silo fongo kanu motumo.
And according to you, it was this is the exact location where you found the vehicle.
Itala dia mokono ya foko motoni natalo keta damin motoni ite fango ya tara o dinkira leto lumen ita ale moto jitaraji.
Yes, that was what happened.
Okay. After you went past this vehicle or this scene of accident,
Real tata hanfal tambita ni motola wala accident keta dinkira mento.
Do you know whether there was any other incident surrounding the convoy?
Fo isibu wakala mabang fo kudo sike kulu kono me yalon ko asike nyin convoy kilim la kulti.
Hani mo karamta karu kaya kami atong ingketa ndo ngawat ningi je kajubi.
No, I wasn't aware of that. But when the accident happened, we spent some time there to observe it.
Do you know whether the convoy shot at some civilians near the Independence Stadium? If you're not aware, tell us you're not aware.
Fo isina bunyin kalamako convoy nyin ye civilian lu dolu bulne kidola Independence Stadium ma raje.
Hani ma karamta.
I'm not aware of that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jaju. For just one last question before you go. Can you tell us at what speed was the convoy coming on the date of this accident? Was it slow speed, moderate speed, or high speed?
Mr. Jaju, for la fano hakilola convoy nimburo membakana ila burikando mandinne bang fo mosafo ila burobe temanka sembole to bang fo mosafo inimburi bale bakanna
Brindangam Fallon State House 2001 March.
Since I got to the State House 2001 in March.
And in 2008.
Until March. When I was arrested in 2008 in March.
Slow ka mo long convoy ngami moderate kay wala nimbe dun ka sa dekono aka moderate soro.
I don't slow is non-existent as far as the convoy is concerned. Moderate, yes, when we are getting into settled areas.
But when
we get out of settled areas,
or 90 kilometers per hour.
Our speed is 90 kilometers and above per hour.
On this particular date of the accident, at around the spot of the accident, can you give us the approximate speed you believe the convoy was traveling?
In accident kata lumena, anaketa dinkira mento. Fo isel lafano hakilola convoy nimboro yirko membita kan wo tembo wato men accident nyimbe kala wolum.
Adore nyawanya above 60 kilometers per hour.
At least it would be above 60 kilometers per
60
hour.
miles per hour.
60 miles per hour.
Perhaps maybe the cameras can just zoom into the pic photograph to so that it could be viewed by the audience watching.
Camera tiolu isi camera londino natalo kan ya warandi pour jubere lalu fanalisi aje minebe natalo nyimbala.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Mr. Chair, I would just want to end it at this. I just called the witness for a discrete issue that the Commission could have a better understanding about what happened on that fateful day and to have a better appreciation of the evidence that was given by Mr. Lamin Sila. That was the purpose. I have no further questions for the witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Counsel, and thank you, Mr. Jaju. What a difference between the two testimonies that you've given before this commission. On the 27th of February this year, you testified completely about feeding Yaya, serving him food and putting stuff on the table. And today, you come to testify about a horrific accident. But thank you again so much for coming. Counsel, do you know if in your contacts with him, there was an ambulance that carried the victims away from this particular horrific accident?
We did not deal with that issue, but perhaps it's a question you might want to speak with. Thank you.
Counsel,
Yes.
you may answer the
ambulance.
On the issue of the ambulance
aka involve on accidents convoy mean cause.
Mostly, it is only accidents that have been caused by the convoy.
When
the victim is picked up, the victim is dropped at the nearest hospital, and then the ambulance follows the convoy.
Because
I witnessed that once.
This was in 2006.
This was in 2006.
During
During the tour,
around Nyumi end.
around the Nyumi end, the accident happened, and I was not even aware.
But Jane qualify.
But Jane qualified. He came and met us in Kerewan. He said the convoy knocked one child who died, but we went there, we sat with the family. And the very last, and I've come now to meet you here. That happened.
The other one
The other one was a herder.
in biscuit fire.
This throwing of the biscuits.
Solba.
May God have mercy on him. It's called Solba. There was one Land Rover within the convoy which we used.
The same thing, a biscuit fire,
That also, biscuits were thrown, and he did not know that Sol was behind him. He went to pick the biscuits, and he was knocked.
on the radio, okay, going a month evacuated to the hospital.
As we were going, we heard over the radio that the boy did not die, but he was evacuated to the hospital.
But
because I figured out that even if he died, he would not be able to make benefit himself anyway. Because if you looked at the height of the Land Rover, it hit him until he had to climb up the bump and then fall down.
Windscreen.
Windscreen and then fall down. I'm aware of that too.
So what happened to the victims on this particular fateful day?
That too, the ambulance came, picked him and rushed him to the hospital. Rushed back and found out at the missing place in Kasakunda. I do not know whether the person survived or died. I did not get any further information on that issue.
So it was the ambulance from the convoy, not another ambulance coming from another hospital, if that is the case.
No, it's the ambulance from the convoy.
From the convoy.
Yeah.
It's the ambulance from the...
Splendid. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, commissioners, please indicate. If not, thank you very much indeed, Mr. Jaju, for coming again to testify before the commission.
Numbara kendake Mr. Jaju isonta koteke kamurun kana CDRO la commission to bifana.
Thank you very much. Council, I believe we don't have any other witness to come now, the third witness for the day.
We always have the meeting, Mr. Chair. No, that was just a lame joke.
We will call it a day,
Thank you.
and tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock.
Just some housekeeping issue, perhaps, Mr.
Sorry,
Chair,
yeah,
before
please
you
go
go.
ahead.
May I ask to put in the photograph as MF2, MFI2, marked for identification 2, to put it in a reserve box so that we can later tender it into evidence.
But you were going to add some more information regarding that, the source and the, of the date?
Yes, that's why I
I
just
take it,
want it to be marked for identification, and later we can tender it as an exhibit.
Fine, and that request is granted.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And lastly, the statement of Mr. Lamin Jarju, wanted to have it exhibited as Exhibit 143. He had seen it and had accepted that it was his statement. So that is something we omitted to do, but we would want to do it now.
Fine, request granted also.
To mark Exhibit 143. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Cheers.
That's it for the okay, fine. Thank you all very much indeed. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the morning, we would meet here again, sharp. Thank you, meeting is adjourned.